One of the worst I've worked in my 53 years in law enforcement.
My mommy wouldn't get up. My mommy wouldn't get up. And when you hear your grandbaby say that, it's like the hardest thing in the world.
Based on the evidence that we have collected, based on a forensic interview of a child witness that was present when this tragedy occurred, it is my opinion at this time that it was a murder-suicide.
She's seen everything. She was in the car. And she says her mommy is dead. And she says Sade is dead and Vic is dead.
Instantly after the first 3 or 4, it sounded like another 3 or 4 shots. There were 2 deceased females inside the vehicle. And then my neighbor, Nate, had been killed, and I believe another young lady was laying there not too far from him.
In a tragic incident that has shocked the community, a mother shares her heart-wrenching story. She reveals that one of the victims was her daughter, while another was like a daughter to her, having lived with her since 10th grade. The third victim was the best friend of the 2 girls. A 3-year-old girl was also in the car during the shooting. In a scene too painful to imagine, the little girl witnessed the horror and heartbreakingly uttered, "Mommy is dead."
She's seen everything. She was in the car. And she says her mommy is dead. And she says Sade is dead and Vic is dead. She said all the time.
It's unimaginable how a 3-year-old can process the trauma of seeing her mother and 2 close family friends gunned down right in front of her.
The officer did tell me that whoever was in the back shielded her under the seat.
Tragically, the child's father is allegedly the shooter. Despite the chaos, someone in the back seat had the presence of mind to shield the little girl under the seat, potentially saving her life. The county's newly formed Violent Crimes Task Force is now investigating this horrific incident. Marshall County Sheriff Kenny Dickerson has expressed confidence in the results of the county's newly formed Violent Crimes Task Force as they investigate Sunday's mass shooting. Each member was assigned specific crime scene duties on the day of the tragic event.
Their job was to photograph, mark, and collect evidence. Then there was another team assigned to trying to locate any kind of video footage that someone may have caught on their home cameras or their Ring cameras.
Commander Kelly shared that the task force has been well received by Holly Springs elected officials, who view it as a significant asset to the community. However, Sheriff Dickerson voiced his frustration over the delay in receiving an official cause of death from the state crime lab.
To say 100%, we will not know that until we get the professional forensic autopsy results in our hand.
Despite the task force's tireless efforts to determine a motive for the shootings, it may still take several days for the state crime lab to complete their analysis and provide the necessary information.
A collective team that could come together and help us solve crime, especially violent crimes, and solve them in a timely manner.
The mother of one of the 3 Memphis women tragically killed over the weekend in Mississippi speaks out about her devastating loss.
To know Sade was to know that she was a bright light. We were very close, so we kept up with each other, like, call me when you get done, or call me when you get back, or I'm at home.
With many unanswered questions, Taylor Trevino is fervently hoping for justice for her daughter.
Shawana was her best friend. Victoria was one of her good friends, but Shay was her best friend.
As Taylor Trevino mourns, she faces the heartbreaking reality that she will never see her daughter cross the stage at her graduation ceremony, which was just less than a month away.
And she graduated with a 4.0.
Her mother described their relationship as very close and expressed profound sorrow over her untimely death.
And her graduation is actually in 3 or 4 weeks. Her graduation to actually walk is not until August the 23rd. So she won't be able to walk. But she did finish and she got done.
Hey everyone, welcome to the channel. In this deeply moving video, we delve into the tragic shooting in Holly Springs, Mississippi, that has left a community in mourning. The horrific event claimed the lives of 3 women and 1 man, leaving families devastated and searching for answers. Family members, too shaken to speak publicly, are grappling with the loss and the unanswered questions. According to Holly Springs Police Chief Daryl Bowens, the shooting occurred just before 7 p.m. on Saturday. Responding officers found a black sedan with 3 women inside, all shot to death.
And that was the only reason she probably lived. It was babysitting, yes.
Police confirmed that all the victims were in their 20s. Remarkably, a 3-year-old girl, the lone survivor, was found inside the car uninjured. Investigators revealed that one of the deceased women was the child's mother. The child has since been placed in the custody of her grandparent. Wilson, who knew the mother who died in the car, described her as an amazing person.
There were 2 deceased females inside the vehicle. And then my neighbor, Nate, had been killed, and I believe another young lady was laying there not too far from him.
This incident marks the 3rd shooting in Holly Springs in the past week, though the previous shootings did not result in fatalities.
Instantly after the first 3 or 4, it sounded like another 3 or 4 shots.
Chief Bowens, a 28-year veteran of the department, stated that this is the single worst act of violence he has ever encountered. Typically, Holly Springs experiences only 1 homicide each year.
In her heart, she just wanted Nalia to still know the other side of her family as well. And sometimes things just don't go well when you have a good heart and you try it.
Investigators in North Mississippi are not searching for any suspects at this time.
Make a meeting place at the police department, through a third party. Just be a little bit more careful. Don't argue with them. You don't know what people is capable of. Do something for your child if they're in a bad situation, abusive, verbally. Just do something. I don't care if you have to get up, move with them. You won't be in my shoes, I promise you.
Marshall County Sheriff Kenny Dickerson currently believes this tragic event was a murder-suicide. The bodies of a man and 3 women were found on the 1000 block of West Woodard Avenue in Holly Springs. Investigators have revealed chilling details. A young child was found in the car with the 3 deceased women, covered in blood but miraculously unharmed. Relatives have identified the child as the daughter of one of the victims, Siobhan Murray. Authorities in Marshall County believe that 27-year-old Nathan Stewart fired the fatal shots. According to the grandmother of the child, investigators believe that Victoria Pugh heroically shielded her granddaughter during the shooting. Joe Wilson, a neighbor, recounted the terrifying night of the shooting.
It's just devastating to the whole community. This is a very tranquil neighborhood, and just to hear that kind of violence and knowing that there was a loss of life, especially including, that it was our next door neighbors.
I heard 4 to 5 shots, and then within a split second, another 4 to 5 shots, he said.
Well, I feel devastated by it. I used to take them to school in the morning. I heard 4 to 5 succession of shots, and within a split second later, there was another 4 to 5 shots. I don't know, somewhere between 6 to 8 to 10 shots rang out. When they were kids, when they were 5 and 6 or 7, if they missed a school bus, they would ring my bell and ask me, Mr. Wilson, would you take us to school? And I would. Very outstanding mom, Back in the day, she was a single mom working 2 jobs and stuff. And I think she was able to slow down now with 1, but she's always worked and always took care of her family.
Investigators are awaiting autopsy results and other forensic testing from the evidence collected. The mass shooting has been ruled a murder-suicide by Marshall County Sheriff Kenny Dickerson. Based on the evidence we have collected and the forensic interview of the child witness present during the tragedy, it is my opinion that this was a murder-suicide, said Sheriff Dickerson. The Violent Crimes Task Force, which played a crucial role in the investigation, consists of 2 deputies and 2 Holly Springs police officers. Holly Springs Mayor Sharon Gibson visited the scene of the tragic shooting to offer her condolences. While she was present to support the grieving community, she declined to comment on camera. Finnie, the mother of one of the victims, shared more about the tragic events.
I know the altercation started over the baby. It's probably you're not taking the baby, and I know it went left.
A witness suggested that a domestic issue may have led to the shooting, but family members are too shaken to speak publicly. The scene remains active with police and ambulances at the intersection of West Woodward Avenue and Sunset Acres Road. So far, no one has been charged, and the motive for the shooting remains unclear. Family members and neighbors are heartbroken over the tragedy. The victim's aunt, Nancy Stewart, shared that her nephew, Nate Stewart, was one of the deceased. She mentioned that one of the women killed was his fiancée.
One of the females was his fiancée, which the baby was in the car with them.
The other two women were friends from Memphis.
The other two girls was their friends from Memphis.
Nancy expressed uncertainty about what led up to the shooting, noting that Nate had some visitors from Memphis and that the 5-year-old child was unharmed. Nancy Stewart also commented on the impact of the tragedy on the young child involved.
The baby was okay. The baby's real young, so I'm not quite sure if the baby really knows what's going on right now.
Her words highlight the additional layer of tragedy, as a child is left to navigate life after witnessing such horror.
I don't know anything about that.
One witness provided a description of the situation but also declined to comment on camera.
Just so shocking for something like that to happen to young people. It just hurts our heart to have stuff like that go on. And that's too many people at one time.
This video offers a somber and heart-wrenching look at the devastating impact of the Holly Springs shooting. Our hearts go out to the families and the community as they try to cope with this unimaginable loss. Please like, share, and subscribe to stay updated on this developing and tragic story.